Hi, everybody. I'm Ben Poise. I'm the product manager for Android Framework. I like how everybody's right over there. I wish I could join you. The sun's going to come and get me. What I want to talk to you guys about is background limits and a lot of the infrastructure that we've put in place in O. And it's a starting point. And I wanted to try and have this talk give you a glimpse as to how we're approaching the problem. And so you don't just think we're trying to ruin all the apps and everything you're doing in the background. We're actually trying to find a balance of enabling users to have battery life they can rely on, and enabling developers to do the use cases that they think are great and that users respond positively to. And so to do that, we're going to talk a little bit about the past, a lot about the present, and then a bit about the future, where for one of the few times we're going to give you a glimpse of the space that we're trying to go longer term. So in the past, we have Doze and Standby. Doze and Doze Lite were introduced to try and save battery in two main conditions. One being when the device is off for a long period of time. So a good example of this is I take my tablet, I toss it in my desk, and it sits there for a few days. In that, you really want the device to last a long time, and Doze was introduced to make that device last up to a week. And it was largely successful when it was introduced. Doze Lite was trying to take that same concept and apply that to my phone is in my pocket, it's not on, but it is on me. And Doze wasn't identifying that situation, and Doze Lite was trying to target that and to start slowing down applications. We haven't really gotten around to Bluetooth yet. We're also looking at applications listening to other events on the device and whether those things should be happening or not. The big one here is deferring work. We want the OS to have more flexibility to have discretion about when jobs run. When it's all services-based, the OS has really no control. If a single large install-based application makes a unilateral decision to increase its wake log time, the OS today and the user is powerless to do anything about it. And so that's why we're looking to make these transitions. And the balance should be now users are more in the driver's seat about what features the application is giving and whether the user finds value in those features running in the background, and then they can articulate that. The default for all these things is on, and the model you can roughly think of as long as you're cool, the OS will be cool, and everybody will be cool, and it's great. If in this scenario, though, applications start getting aggressive, battery starts getting high, scanning rates start getting higher, we may start informing the user, hey, this stuff's kind of heavy on your battery. Do you want it to run in the background? And then they can articulate that back to the OS. And then we can begin having a control surface for how we manage individual applications. And so then the user can say, these 10 apps I care about a lot. These other apps, not so much. We're not suggesting that we need to have a micromanaging menu. That's not the desire. But using things like how users are interacting with the application. How often are they interacting with GCM messages when the application gets woken up? How often do they interact with notifications? These are all great signals to inform how the OS should dole out its limited resources, namely battery. And the last one is we have to beef up the idea of foreground service and figure out how does that as an API surface and how does that as a UI construct not turn into all the applications rushing to the exits of foreground service, and then we're back in the same mess that we are now with no control surface again. And we want to find a balance so that applications can generally do everything they need, and that in the extremes, the user is able to articulate approval for these extreme situations. And we're hoping that that's going to result in a much more stable, much more reliable device in the long run. And so hopefully that gives you a bit of insight about how we're approaching Android health and mostly battery life and resource contention. So, I forgot a slide. But the idea here, the last one was attribution and value. And so we want to really make that identified. I already talked about the points. I won't bore you repeating it. And thank you very much for your time. Thanks.